Good morning, students. This is the second and final session of Civics. The topic is our Constitution. Let's check the points what we have discussed in the last session. The point we have discussed in the last session were a constitution is a set of rules that guides our country, state, or the political organization works. Drafting committee is a group of people who sit together to draft or frame a constitution. The preamble can be referred to as the preface which highlights the entire constitution. Now let's move on to the today's topic, and today we are going to discuss regarding fundamental rights and duties, secularism, adult franchise, independent judiciary, and the election system. Written Constitution. The Indian Constitution is in the written form. This is the lengthiest constitution in the world. The structure, power, and extent of power of three organs of the government, such as legislature, executive, and judiciary, are explained. There is a single constitution both for central and the state government. Republic. India is a republic country. In India, the constitution has declared India as a republic. In the case of republican system, there is no rule of the king. Instead, there is a rule of elected representatives by the people. India, which has this kind of political system, is known as the democratic republic. Student, as a citizen of India, we are having some fundamental rights. The prominent fundamental rights are six. Those fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Students, being a citizen of India, we are having some moral responsibilities and duties towards our nation. There are 11 fundamental duties in our constitution. Among them, the most important are we must respect the national flag and national anthem, obey the laws of our country, protect the power, unity, and integrity of the country, safeguard public property, pay our taxes with honesty promptly. So, these are the few duties each and every citizen have to perform. Students, as we know, India is a secular country. What do you mean by secularism? Secularism is a belief system that rejects religion or the belief that religion should not be the part of the affairs of the state or part of public education. The principles of separation of church and state, of keeping religion out of the public school system, are an example of secularism. Secularism in India thus does not mean the separation of religion from state. Instead, secularism in India means a state that supports or participates in a neutral manner in the affairs of all religious groups. The government considers no religion as its religion. Every citizen is at freedom to practice religion of his or her choice and faith. The government has the authority to control the freedom to practice one's religion in the interest of the public. Independent judiciary. In India, we are having independent judiciary. Here, neither the government nor the parliament can interference in the function of the judiciary. All are equal before the court of law and all have right to justice is the principle of the judiciary. The decision of the Supreme Court is final and all are expected to adhere to it. The Indian Constitution protects the citizens from any partial judgment. Due to such authority, the judiciary of the country is an independent body. The Court of India are not controlled by the government and do not represent any political authority. Students, here are few points which make independent judiciary. The judiciary of India is an independent body. It is separated from legislative and executive bodies of the Indian government. The legislative and executive, that is the central and state government, cannot interference in the work of judiciary. The courts are not under the government and don't act on their behalf. Judges in the High Court as well as Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference from the branches of the government. It is also very difficult to remove a judge from his or her post. So in India, the courts, it may be civil court or the High Court or the Supreme Court, they work independently without any interference by the government organizations. Universal adult franchise. The system of electing representative through voting of adult member, that is 18 years and above, is called universal adult franchise. All citizens are eligible for voting without any discrimination. Then a good government comes to power. Next point is the welfare state. What is welfare state? A state which sets a goal to provide social and economic security to all its citizens is generally known as the welfare state. Student, please watch the video. In this video, you can see how the parliament or the legislative assembly forms with the voting.
Welcome to the Indian electoral system. As a citizen of India, you get to vote twice every 5 years. You can cast one vote in the national election and the other one in your state election. India is divided up into small constituencies, which are areas of roughly the same population. In your constituency, keep in mind that the candidates can either belong to a political party or can stand as an independent. When a political party wins the election, it means that a majority of its candidates got elected. In the state elections, you are voting to create a body called the Legislative Assembly or the Vidhan Sabha. Each state has its own legislative assembly and their main function is to make laws within their own state. This body is made up of elected representatives from each constituency of that state. There are multiple candidates standing from each constituency, and the one with the most votes becomes a member of the Legislative Assembly or an MLA. Each state's Legislative Assembly also elects candidates into the upper house of the Parliament. This is called the Rajya Sabha or the Council of States. Each state has a specific number of seats allotted in the Rajya Sabha, which are in proportion to the state's population. The lower house of the Parliament is elected during the national elections. This is known as the Lok Sabha or the House of the People. Similar to the state election, one representative is elected from each constituency of the nation. Each of these elected candidates are called Members of Parliament or MP. We now have our three governing bodies, the Vidhan Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha, where your elected representatives go on to vote for the President of India. The President of India, along with the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, form the Parliament of India. The head of the government is the Prime Minister and is appointed by the President of India. The Prime Minister is usually from the political party that holds a majority of the seats in the Lok Sabha. The person to be appointed as Prime Minister must be a member of either House of the Parliament and also appoints members from the Houses into a body called the Cabinet of India. This body of ministers is in charge of specific portfolios such as the Ministry of Agriculture, Textiles, Defence, Finance, Law and Justice, Culture, and other such ministries that have a direct effect on your life. You have 2 votes every 5 years. 2 votes that help select those who govern and affect the lives of the largest democracy in the world. Use them well.
Yes, students, let's check once the points what we have discussed today. The points are: the Indian Constitution is the written form. The Constitution has declared India as a republic. There are 6 fundamental rights and 11 fundamental duties. India is a secular country. The judiciary is independent in India. Citizens who are above 18 can cast their vote in India. These are the points we have discussed in this session. Students, this is the last session of Constitution of India. Next, we are going to get assignment related to the lesson. Complete your assignment on time. I hope you are going to revise lesson once again and complete the sent work on time. Till that time, have a nice day, students. Thank you.